Important update, and you need to hear this. The FBI has just entered a new phase in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and what they're asking the Tucson community to watch for right now is critical. Do not skip this. Now they're digging for what no one caught the first time. Not what was shown, but what was missing these past 2.5 weeks.
People didn't see.
More specifically, what they have not seen for the last, 2.5 weeks.
So
that's the part that hits hard. Behind the scenes, the FBI says they've built enough of a profile to move with confidence. It's not the full picture yet, but it's getting real. They believe the man they're tracking stands between 5'9" and 5'10". That detail might sound small.
who is always at the supermarket every couple of
You
days.
see at the convenience store every day.
Saw walking his dog every morning, and all of a sudden, the dog's not getting walked, or dog's getting walked by somebody else.
But right now, it matters a lot. The FBI profile is getting sharper now. They say the suspect is a white male, and from what they've seen, he appears to have a mustache and a beard. That detail alone has people looking twice at every face in Tucson. Investigators also believe this is someone local, someone who knows the Tucson area well and moves around it with confidence.
MIA. And, they're still looking for tips. They don't have hard leads right now. And it is frustrating. And here's the reality, that there are a lot of things going on. Prince Andrew is going on. We may be attacking Iran, which is going to be a big story. So
then they say he's a smart, tech-savvy guy who knows his way around devices and systems. That means he can plan, move quiet, and cover tracks without making noise. So think hard. Have you not seen someone like that in the last 3 weeks? Skip work, stop showing up, or dodge skip work, stop showing up, or dodge calls. Somebody may have pulled back and vanished from the usual routine over the past 3 weeks, and that could mean something big. Here's what they're really watching for. Think about someone you know well, someone who sticks to a routine. Now imagine you haven't heard from them in 2.5 weeks. No texts, no quick chats, no random run-ins. That's not small. That's a shift. Was there a guy who walked his dog every single morning like clockwork, rain or shine, and now the dog isn't being walked at all? Or someone else suddenly took over? That kind of change stands out. People don't just drop habits overnight for no reason. What about work? Is there someone who never misses a shift, always on time, always clocked in, and now they've just stopped showing up? No notice, no clear excuse. Or maybe it's that familiar face at the supermarket every couple of days, or the person grabbing coffee at the same convenience store every morning, and now gone. That's the angle investigators are pushing hard. They're scanning for sudden silence, broken routines, and small changes that scream something isn't right. And honestly, that's not a bad strategy at all. But to really understand why investigators are focusing on these details right now, you have to look at what's happened over the past 2.5 weeks. Because when you walk through the timeline step by step, certain moments begin to stand out, and some gaps become harder to ignore. And before we walk through the timeline of events, make sure you're subscribed to Social Heat so you don't miss any future updates on this case as new information comes in. Now let's take a closer look at how this all unfolded. Today, I want to walk through the timeline of events surrounding the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, based on publicly reported information from law enforcement and news sources. On the evening of Saturday, January 31st, 2026, Nancy spent time with family. She had dinner at her daughter's home and was later driven back to her residence in the Catalina Foothills area near Tucson, Arizona. At approximately 9:48 p.m., she was dropped off at her home. Shortly after, her garage door was recorded closing. That moment marks the last confirmed sighting of her. In the early hours of Sunday, February 1st, several unusual events occurred. Around 1:47 a.m., her doorbell camera went offline. Investigators believe this may have been the result of tampering. A short time later, motion detection was triggered at the property, though no usable footage was captured. At approximately 2:28 a.m., data showed that her Apple Watch disconnected from her phone, which authorities consider a significant timestamp in narrowing the window of her disappearance. Later that morning, concern began to grow. Nancy had planned to attend online church services with a friend, but she never logged in. When family members checked on her, they found her home, her car, and essential personal belongings, including her phone, wallet, medications, and hearing aid, still inside. At approximately 12:03 p.m., a 911 call was placed, reporting her missing. Very quickly, authorities determined that the situation did not appear to be voluntary. Given her health conditions and the fact that critical items were left behind, investigators began treating the case as a suspected abduction. Her home was processed as a crime scene, and local, state, and federal agencies joined the investigation. In the days that followed, law enforcement released surveillance images showing a masked individual outside her home during the early morning hours. The individual appeared to be wearing gloves and carrying a backpack. Investigators also recovered a glove found roughly 2 miles away. Though DNA analysis did not immediately produce a match in national databases. There were reports of ransom communications sent to media outlets, which authorities evaluated seriously, though they did not publicly confirm their authenticity. Meanwhile, Nancy's family made emotional public appeals, asking for information and urging anyone involved to allow her safe return. As the investigation moved into mid-February, officials confirmed that the family had been cleared of suspicion and continued cooperating fully. The FBI increased the reward for information leading to her safe return or an arrest. Authorities stated that while there was no confirmed proof of life, there was also no confirmation of death. The investigation remains active, with hundreds of leads being pursued. At this time, no arrests have been made, and law enforcement continues to ask the public for credible information that could help bring clarity and hopefully resolution to this case. As we conclude this review of the timeline, we are reminded that behind every detail, every timestamp, and every piece of evidence is a real person, a mother, a grandmother, a friend whose absence is deeply felt. The investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie remains ongoing. While many questions still remain unanswered, the commitment of law enforcement, the persistence of investigators, and the unwavering hope of her family continue to drive the search for truth. In times like this, patience, compassion, and responsible sharing of information are essential. If anyone has credible information that could assist authorities, coming forward could make a critical difference. The FBI has increased the reward for information to $100,000. Missing is not just a label. It is a state of suspended reality. It's the ache of not knowing, the torment of imagining every possible outcome, the space where hope and fear collide and refuse to let you breathe. Now picture all of that playing out while the whole country watches. Because when a public figure's family member disappears, it doesn't stay private. It explodes. Headlines flash. Social media reacts in seconds. Speculation spreads like wildfire. And in this era, speculation moves way faster than facts ever could. Words start flying: investigation, security footage, authorities reviewing evidence. Those phrases sound official. They create urgency. They build suspense. But behind those heavy words is something fragile and painfully human. A daughter waiting for news, a family clinging to hope, an empty chair at the dinner table that no one wants to look at. We forget sometimes that the people we see on television are real. We see confidence. We see control. We see polished smiles under studio lights. But we don't see the quiet moments. The late night staring at a silent phone. The replaying of the last conversation over and over. The guilt creeping in with hard questions. Could I have called sooner? Did I overlook a sign? Was there something she didn't say? That kind of uncertainty has a name. It's called ambiguous loss, and it's one of the most painful psychological states a person can endure because there is no closure, no confirmation, just space for the mind to wander into fear. Every knock at the door hits like a shockwave. Every unknown number brings a rush of hope and dread. Now add cameras outside, microphones extended, reporters asking for updates. The emotional weight doubles because you're not just searching anymore. You're performing strength. You're standing tall while your world feels like it's shaking underneath you. In moments like this, fame doesn't shield you. It magnifies everything. Every rumor spreads faster. Every theory trends. Every tiny expression gets dissected online. Strangers study body language. They build narrative from thin air. And while the noise grows louder, a family sits in silence and waits. What makes disappearance stories hit so hard isn't just the mystery. It's the universal fear behind them. Every person understands what it means to love someone. Every person understands the fear of losing that someone without warning. That's why these stories grip us so tightly. They tap into something primal, something deeply human. The fear of absence, the fear of silence, the fear that the last goodbye wasn't supposed to be the last. In a situation like this, investigators would comb through every detail. Timelines rebuilt step by step. Phones analyzed, neighbors interviewed, security footage reviewed frame by frame. Procedure moves carefully, methodically, by the book. But emotions don't move that way. Emotions move fast. They race, they spiral. And between the slow pace of investigation and the speed of panic, there's a space filled with pure agony. There's something haunting about the word missing. It's not final like gone. It's not relieving like found. It hangs in the air. It stretches time. It keeps everyone suspended in uncertainty. Days turn into press conferences, carefully worded statements, public pleas for information, cameras flashing. But behind those controlled messages are private tears. Behind the steady voice is a trembling heart. Behind the professional image is a daughter who just wants her mother home. And here's the deeper truth. When stories like this unfold, they remind us of something essential. Public figures are not characters in a drama. They are people. They have parents. They have fears. They have hearts that break just like anyone else's. We consume stories quickly, scroll, react, share. But for someone, this isn't content. It's their life. It's their worst nightmare unfolding in real time. So in moments like this, the strongest response isn't speculation. It's compassion, not rumor, restraint, not curiosity at any cost, humanity. Because when news turns personal, everything shifts. The teleprompter fades, the headlines blur. What's left is simple and raw. A daughter, a mother, a family, a fragile thread of hope. Hope that the silence will end. Hope that answers will come. Hope that absence will not become permanent. No matter the outcome, joyful or heartbreaking, experiences like this leave a mark. They change how we look at the world. They remind us to call our parents, to say what we mean, to stop delaying the words that matter, to value the ordinary moments that feel small but mean everything. Because ordinary moments are not guaranteed. And once they're gone, they can't be replayed. So as you step away tonight, remember this. Behind every headline is a human being. Behind every viral story is a family holding their breath. Behind every disappearance is a love that refuses to quit. As this investigation continues, we will stick to verified updates and clear, factual reporting as new information becomes available. Staying informed matters. Awareness matters. If this timeline gave you clarity, support the channel. Like this video, subscribe to Social Heat, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on this case or other major stories making waves. If you have thoughtful, respectful insights, drop them below. Let's keep this space responsible and informed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.